Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I have a great treat for you. Ibn Rajab, the greatest book really after Quran is this book, Jami' al-Ulum wal-Hikmah. My best sheikh in Egypt told me, read this book again and again and again. When I asked him a question about it, shortly before he passed, Allah yarhamu, he told me that after Quran, this is the most important book for you. Don't just read it once, read it twice, 3 times. Keep reading it over and over again. So I took his advice. And really, it's an adventure that I pray that it will never end. And I ask for all of you to start. Now, this man, I will discuss him later. Right now, there's a hadith I really want to put forward because of certain conditions that I have been noticing. And this is the concept of stay in your lane, mind your own business. I never really understood how I'm supposed to change after I became a Muslim from, you can say, my former persona, which was one that was, and still is, talkative, and most willing to give advice. However, in Islam, you give advice when you're asked. And that is rare here, because unfortunately, due to conditions in the Middle East, many people are adverse to involving themselves in any way other than very peripherally in the affairs that concern the religion. Now we know that the Sunnah is the best way. That's why this book, Jami' al-Ulum wal-Hikmah, means a compilation of knowledge and wisdom. Because in Islam, hikmah is wisdom, and wisdom means to follow the Sunnah, not to follow your own opinion. I hope I've been clear and concise. Now let's begin at the beginning. No, not today. I want to begin with this hadith because it's been a little bit misinterpreted because of translation, which is why I read Arabic, and then I think about what it really means, and then when I continue to read the great scholars, I turn out to be right. Well, I'm not in any way claiming any superiority over any translator, but in common usage, because Arabic is not the language that is spoken. It's something called Amiya. It's the slang. It's the people's way of speaking, which is half Arabic and half something else. Enough criticism. Did anyone ask me? I know my audience is made up of English speakers, and so I always try to think about the problems, the inconsistencies, the confusion that comes from not knowing Arabic, and that's why I always say, start, inshallah, you'll start. Okay, this is Hadith al-Sabi'a, number 7, from the collection of the 40 Hadith of Imam Nawawi, which is famous and which is taught and learned in masajids all over America and is very accessible. As an aside, Ibn Rajab's collection, he includes 10 more that are not in Imam Nawawi's. You know, that's how I started in my curiosity to open up Ibn Rajab, which is far above my capacity. 10 years ago, I wanted it. I just wanted it. I wanted to know why. We'll talk about that later. So let's begin right now on the text of the Hadith in Arabic, and then we'll discuss it mainly in English so that you can benefit by it. This is a hadith. عن تميم الداري رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال الدين نصيحة ثلاثة. ثلاثة means he said it 3 times. الدين نصيحة, الدين نصيحة, الدين نصيحة. قُلْنَا لِمَنْ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. The listeners said, to whom, O Prophet of Allah? قَالَ لِلَّهِ وَلِكِتَابِهِ وَلِرَسُولِهِ وَلِأَئِمَّةِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَعَامَتِهِمْ. To Allah and to the Prophet and to the leaders of the Muslims and to the general community. Now, this has been translated as advice, الدين nasiha. However, that's not the proper way to translate it. In essence, if you want to be correctly understanding Arabic and in the way that the scholars have interpreted this hadith, and there has been so much done on this hadith. So we're going to start at the beginning, which is the words of the Prophet Muhammad when he said, and this is in Sahih al-Muslim, أن النبي قال حق المؤمن على المؤمن ستة. And then he said the rights of a Muslim over one another are 6. فذكر منها وإذا استنصحك فأنصحه له. If he asks you for nasiha, give it to him. And this is something which has caused part of the confusion in translation. Why? If we go to the original meaning of the word nasiha, we find out that this word comes from the asl of nasah. In the lugha, in Arabic, it means al-khulus. Khulus means the absolute essence of something. The khulasa we get from this to be mukhlis, to be sincere. Surah al-Ikhlas in the Quran, Qul huwa Allahu ahad, is called Surah al-Ikhlas. But the rest of this hadith says, the rest of this explanation of the definition says, Nasahtu al-asal, إذا خلصته من الشمعة. You have taken out the pure honey from the wax. And sometimes it's very important to return to the earliest recordings of the word to enable us to put it together with whatever light Allah puts in our heart regarding the meanings of Quran. Now you might say to me now, well, what's the problem with it being the essence of the pure honey coming from the wax or the honeycomb, or however? You might say, well, that sounds right to me, that it's something really, really good and really, really important that we do it that way. And remember, the first part of the hadith says, liman, and it's to Allah, and then to the Rasul. So let's go back and find out from this book why, in fact, that is really, really, really important for the Muslims, that they do it that way, that they give their total concentration to knowing that this means that they have to follow the sunnah in their words and deeds before they give this nasiha, khalasa, or to be mukhlisin, and all of these words. You know, Arabic is really, they say it's a bahar, it's like a vast ocean. And when you dive into it, it never stops. You keep getting layers upon layers upon layers of meaning. But because my chosen specialty, is aqidah. Now, I know memorizing Quran, I do that, and I know that I'm supposed to know a little bit of hadith and fiqh, etc., etc., etc. But my famous, most unusual endeavor is the ma'ani. It's called the ma'ani. And someone once said to me, you think you're going to learn ma'ani? This was 20 years ago. Who are you, you little bug, coming over from America Oh, doctora, you think you're going to delve into this bahr? And I just had this feeling that I ought to, because it appealed to me so much and it never stopped. Study the meanings, study the meanings, study the meanings, because so much is lost in translation. And there are those who lie also. To be continued, inshallah.